Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of HarlequinCasts, Company of Heroes. Today we have a nice little fun co-casting analysis type game going on today. With me, all the way from Austin, Texas, is Mr. Budwise from GameReplays.org. Budwise, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Just got home from work, have a beer, chill out, have a good shoutcast. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I know. I totally ambushed you for this because I'm trying to like stockpile on recordings as I'm about to go on vacation to China and stuff. So it's good. I don't know when we'll air this, but it'll be sometime very soon. I don't know why I'm even mentioning that. A little bit of meta commentary during my commentary here. So today's game, obviously. So first off, let me talk about the man here before we get into the game here. So Mr. Budwise, you have just been, as far as I can tell, a jack of all trades of all things Company of Heroes for quite some time now. What's your background with the game and all of that?
I started around 1.2 and just kept on playing. Around, I don't know, 2.3, started helping out around game replays and did some replay viewing, strategy specialists, you name it, I've done it. So, yeah, just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you're with the Reborn clan, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and you were involved in the beta, you were involved in Eastern Front, just some of the random junk we've been mentioning here. You've been all over the place. I know I first met you when I was doing Company of Heroes Online, actually, where you were over there as well. You still hold the title referee, I believe, of all things.
I do. But,
just
yeah, I've done the Eastern Fronts and involved in the beta patch, and I like to get hands-on with everything, and I know that if I'm involved that it's going to be done right. So
Excellent. Well, good. I hope that will carry over to this commentary, because I, for one, would screw it up if left on my own endeavors. And that, of course, is because today's commentary is going to be at great request, massive request. So everybody can now see on my heads-up display here, we are going to do a British game. And they have been the most requested game, other than the fact that, in general, Company of Heroes games are very requested on my channel. Brits, in particular, I can't tell you how many questions I get about, when are you going to do the Brits? When are you going to do the Brits? And honestly, I don't do Brits because there weren't Brits in Company of Heroes Online, and I don't know a damn thing about them, and I honestly haven't played them very much at all. So I figure, what better than to have someone like an expert like Mr. Budwise come in and sit down and tell us all about the Brits and how they all work today. So, so thank you for showing up for that. And and by the way, thank you to all your buddies who helped out by picking out replays. I know they were kind of suggesting random things for us to check out. So that's pretty sweet. So Brits. Okay, so here's my two-sentence, I don't know if it's two sentences or not, but my couple of words or less understanding of the Brits, which is that people are always yelling at them for being imbalanced and for being kind of boring, and it doesn't seem like they get a lot of respect, and I've kind of been avoiding wanting to cast them anyways because I wanted to be able to give them proper credit while not discounting them too much, if that makes any sense. What's your opinion on all of that exactly?
I think they kind of get a bad rap. I mean, they are rather actually underpowered in 1v1 compared to the other factions. They can easily be stomped out pretty quickly by Pio spam or like a 5 Pio to tier 2 fast half-track Gren spam. There's a lot of things that are their weakness, mainly that being fire. They just, with their armor type, they tend to just go up in flames really fast. Their tech tree is very linear, so there's not a whole lot of options on how the player is going to tech, and it just sometimes makes for a rather static or rather predictable, boring game, depending on the players. But I think with the players today, I think we can expect some fun out of it.
Nice, yeah. As far as the British tech goes, with each tier you have a corresponding lieutenant and captain and all that sort of thing, and you need to get them out, and then you just get the next building, right? You don't have any choice or anything?
Yeah, it goes by truck, or I like to call them minivans.
Yeah. I'm not going to be too biased here, but I remember my very first impression, I remember thinking that the Brits were about as historically accurate as having like Transformers in the game. And I always remember just kind of finding that funny. But, okay, so these are two guys, both from Reborn Clan. Playing today as the intrepid Brits, we have Mr. Noslo Reborn. Noslu? Is that how you pronounce it? Noslo?
Yeah, you can call him Wilson.
Wilson. Oh, of course. It's Wilson backwards. That makes so much more sense. Okay.
It's a trap.
Is that his name, Wilson or something?
It's actually not, but I don't know.
He goes by Naslu, a.k.a. Wilson. All right, and he's going to be playing today as the Brits, and he is adequately labeled as Reborn. And his opponent today, controlling the blue Wehrmacht pieces, we have Mr. Biosparks. Also, Biosparks, yes, there we go. Also another Reborn player here today. So I don't know. I think that looking pretty good, man. And so I think what were the recommendations on this replay when they told it to you, or what was the kind of game that you were looking for exactly?
Well, I started scouting for this replay on what we should cast, and I kind of in particular wanted to avoid, those replays that are abusive, or, people just like to point out games that are like, I beat this abuse, and everybody's like, hey, and they clap.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty much
okay,
every
guys.
replay I see is like, oh, this guy spammed this many kangaroos and I won, or I lost, or, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so I particularly started out and I said, guys, I need a replay that's good, that's competitive, that doesn't have abuse in it, that, will be a good showcase for the Brits.
Nice. Well, good deal. Okay, well, if you are ready, sir, I am ready.
I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and get this unpaused at the 3-second mark. In 3, 2, 1, click. And the game begins. And I apparently have it on cinematic mode. Look at that. I just like instantly zoomed in on one of the dudes. That's cool there. Anyhow, so standard Wehrmacht quarters, nothing fancy about that. So Brits and Brit openings, what kind of stuff would you normally expect from them? I'm actually going to swap over to Wilson's point of view anyways.
Usually Brits, you're going to see either 1 or 2 units come out of the truck before it moves. Generally, it's going to be Lieutenant Tommy or maybe a Tommy and a Bren. They only have 15 fuel to start out with. So a Lieutenant is 15 fuel and a Bren is 15 fuel. So they're not going to get both of those. But usually it's 1 or 2 units and move, depending on the map mainly.
Gotcha. And of course, the most notable, so the Lieutenant is now running around. The most notable feature of the Brits is that all of these buildings pick up and transform and drive around. And in particular, this command truck here, it gives you some bonuses when it's capping as well, right? I mean in the zone that it's in.
Yeah, it does. It gives you the same as an observation post.
Nice.
That's one of the things that people kind of took a long time to adjust to, is a free observation post.
Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. So we already see going with the motorcycle opening there. That's pretty cool. I'm all down with that. And again, I will not hide the fact that I know very, very little about Brits. So likewise, I know very little about opening strategies against the Brits, but I certainly do like seeing motorcycle HMG play maybe. But it looks like, no, we've got double motorcycles coming out Biosparks there.
Well, actually, a funny little strat that came about maybe a patch or 2 ago was the 6-bike opening against Brits.
And I'm assuming that at some point involves 6 bikes. What was the theory behind that exactly?
The theory that Brits are very immobile and bikes are very mobile, and by keeping your bikes tightly knit together, like if he tries to branch out with 1 squad or a lieutenant, the bikes can just come in and force him off and just keep him from expanding, really. And it funny enough, it worked. It's like a biker gang roaming the map, like picking on Brits.
So our little lieutenant friend now has just bumped into his first bike, and he's going to be maybe taking some cover here. So, by the way, tell us a little bit about how does the lieutenant function? Like, what is his role in the British Army?
He has an aura of so many meters around him that he gives offensive bonuses to the Tommy squads, and movement bonuses, the most important. As you can see, the squad that just came out of the truck and they went to the enemy territory, they started moving extremely slow. Now they move back in their own sector and they're moving at full speed.
Wow.
So the lieutenant really needs to be with the Tommies to effectively move out and fight, or else you're going to be kind of stuck. And he just actually upgraded to a recon squad, which is 50 munitions, and it's the same as the squad that you started out with. Recons move at full speed outside of their territory, but they're not quite as battle efficient as the regular Tommies. But they do have, for 25 munitions, a sniper ability where you can activate it and it will make a 100% pretty much guaranteed shot. Like if you run it to an MG and snipe like the first guy and he goes down, you can sometimes, gives you that second window to go around.
Gotcha. So it's just like a one-shot sniper ability for a second, and then
it's just
gotta
one
cool down
pop,
and everything.
one pop, and then that's it. It's good for counter sniping. It's really their It's their only answer to a sniper.
Gotcha. Excellent. Yeah, so already I can feel I have a sweet spot for this. I do enjoy motorcycle machine gun play. I think it can be very annoying and also very effective. And you can see he's doing a pretty good job containing over here on the left. Well, no, not containing at all because
the lieutenant. Oh, the lieutenant went down to Pios in the north.
to Pios.
Yep.
Man.
Lieutenant is not the hardiest of units really.
Oh, Wilson. You poor sir. Man, going down to Pios. I mean, I guess Pios are pretty darn tough comparatively, but still. That is quite unfortunate there. I guess he was focusing elsewhere on the map. So it looks like Biosparks basically is just trying to kind of get in here. I mean, obviously the benefit of having the forward HQ is that the Brits do have a lot of presence in the center of the battlefield right now, at least.
We have a sniper out.
Nice little sniping going on there.
Yeah, that's going to be a real pain in the butt unless they can get the recon close enough to get the sniper shot off.
Yeah, what's the range like on that compared to a normal sniper? Is it just normal rifle range for them?
It's maybe half.
Oh, okay. You can see the sniper is doing quite a bit of damage. The machine gun continuing to fire like mad. We do have all of our Volksgrenadiers moving in. So for the most part, other than the double recon bikes, this seems like a nice familiar sort of support style opening from the Wehrmacht at least.
It's a very it's probably every Brit's worst nightmare to get pinned at your base. With a forward headquarters like that, that can happen. You can get multiple MGs just come and set up right at your base, and that's usually they'll respond with a mortar pit, which is a fixed structure, 280 manpower, and it's actually like a bunker that shoots a mortar. It's the best way to prevent the base pin, but looks like he's just going to rely on the speed of the recons to kind of almost play like an American and just do some flanking.
Yep. Looking pretty good. We also do see our first truck moving in here, the field support truck, driving his way on into the battlefield. It's so goofy. I love it.
It's got a flank off on this MG, but it's not going to be good enough. The bike's going to push it off.
Yeah, bike MG combo, I just love it. I mean, I know people who hate it, but that's exactly what it's good for. Is just swooping in, defending, not having to break setup formation on the MG42. That's pretty cool. And so now we see the field support truck setting up in the background. So most likely, what is the next British move at this phase?
He doesn't really have, I don't know, the fuel for a Stuart, which would be kind of the equivalent of an M8.
Uh-huh.
He only has 22 fuel in the bank, so I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with it. I guess he could go sappers, but it's not going to get him anywhere. He really needs a mortar pit just to break this hold.
Yeah, this is looking pretty brutal, and now you can see that it looks like, oh man, he's getting just snipes all over the place. It looks like the Volksgrenadiers here are even kind of getting into a position here where they might be able to threaten this victory point should they be able to finally drive these guys back a little bit further. And meanwhile, that machine gun is just continuing to be super annoying and just suppressing everybody in front there.
Yeah, it definitely. You'll see most Brits, the way to kind of get around the suppression is you sit at your base and you repeatedly hit the retreat key, so it kind of pops you back up. You get to get a few shots off, then you go back down. Then you retreat again 2 feet away.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't been able to do anything to that machine gunner yet so far, so probably trying to get in there as close as he can, but really hasn't inflicted anything yet. Yeah, I totally agree with you right now that even knowing nothing about Brits, I want to see mortars or snipers or something to that effect in this position, if I could be anything.
He went with a sapper squad, actually. It's the one with the wrench above them.
Yep.
And he's upgrading it to Piats, so Piats is like kind of a Panzerschreck, but a worse version.
Worst version of a Panzerschreck.